Hello, and welcome back to the Silent Beauty Doctor here on YouTube. And here in my car, evidently, we're getting ready to go into Target. I had an idea of like, what if I had to start all over with my skincare routine, but with things that I've never tried before. So that rules out a lot of my like favorite Olay moisturizers, some of my favorite Neutrogena sunscreens. Like it rules out a lot of stuff. So this will be very interesting. So keep watching. Oh wait, before we go inside, right? Let me tell you really quickly about my skin. So oily skin, I would say that my routine is more about prevention and protection. So I'm using a vitamin C serum in the morning, retinol at night, and of course sunscreen, right? I don't like a whole bunch of stuff in my skincare routine. That's not to say that if you have a bunch of stuff in your skincare routine that you're wrong. I am what I have coined a skincare minimalist. I don't like a lot of fluff. I also like science-backed skincare. Give me stuff that is proven to work. Retinol, niacinamide, that kind of stuff. If you got to tell me about some fairy unicorn in the forest of Timbuktu, I'm tuning you out. So let's go up in Target and see what we see. It's windy shit out here. I gotta tell y'all, I don't necessarily love drugstore cleansers. I tend to find most of the cleansers that I like at like Sephora or Ulta, places like that. And it's because I like a little bit of like a gel action going on. So this one from Verse seems pretty interesting. And I haven't tried it yet, so that definitely makes it a contender. This one from Naturium also seems like it might be a contender. It's something that has an ingredient that's science-backed, and then it also has that nice experience that I kind of look for in a cleanser. And clearly I'm talking about my own personal experience. I'm not saying that Cetaphil, CeraVe, and all those kind of other cleansers in the drugstore are bad. It's just that I need a little bit more of an experience, you know what I mean? But those are great for some people in their routines. Now, around that time of the month, I do like an acne cleanser, but I usually like something with a low dosage of salicylic acid, like 0.5%, like in my Murad. This one seems promising, although it does have 1.5% salicylic acid, so we'll keep it as a maybe. And again, because I like to be clear as possible, I'm talking about my own skin here. So if you're using a cleanser that has 1.5% salicylic acid in it and it works fine for you, that's amazing. I was trying to find an exfoliating toner that I hadn't tried yet at the drugstore. Didn't see one. We'll come back to that. But this vitamin C serum, I definitely use vitamin C during the day in my skincare routine. This is for me, because that coupled with sunscreen is definitely something that is going to help fight against. Remember, my routine is all about protect and prevent. It's something that coupled with sunscreen is going to help fight free radicals, UV, environmental damage. It's amazing. But this one caught my eye because of the vitamin C and ferulic acid. It looks pretty promising here. Now we're going into the warmer months, so I need something oil absorbing. I've already tried this Cetaphil one and there's a video on it, so check that out. But for this experiment, so this project, I guess you can say, I'd probably go with this one from Differin. Oil absorbing, it's a moisturizer with sunscreen all rolled into one. It's looking like a winner for this little project we got going on here. So sometimes during that time of the month, I'll get hormonal acne, not all the time. But I was looking at this. It has adapalene in it, which is a retinoid, but I'm not quite sure because you're supposed to put it all over your face. I'm not quite sure this is for me because I'm already using a retinol in my routine. If you're someone who gets acne on a more regular basis, not like me who maybe, I might get it, maybe I won't get it, this might be something for you to look into. A lot of dermatologists love this, and adapalene was something that you could only get by prescription. So you can no longer buy products that contain 2% hydroquinone over the counter in the United States. So whatever you see on the shelves, that's it. These companies can't produce anymore. If you want some alternatives, check out a video that I did with Dr. Alexis Stevens on actives for hyperpigmentation. That'll be a very helpful video for you to watch. I personally actually liked using hydroquinone to fade my dark spots. There's a lot of fear mongering around it. Yes, there are some bad effects that you can get when used incorrectly, but when used correctly, it can really make a difference, but now you can only get it from a dermatologist. All right, I'm cheating here a little bit because I was only supposed to shop what was in store, but they don't have this brand at this Target. But if I were to pick a dark spot treatment for myself, I would do this one from Specific Beauty, which was started by Dr. Heather Woolry Lloyd. I've tried her line before, but I don't think I've tried the dark spot treatment. And when I say I tried her line, this is probably like 10 years ago, so I don't really remember, and it may not even be the same, you know, lineup. And now we're getting into the nighttime routine. So if I'm wearing makeup that day, I'll typically do a double cleanse, use a cleansing oil or a cleansing balm to remove my makeup, and then I'll, you know, follow up with a regular cleanser. Now, this first one that I'm showing you here, I've already tried, so that would be cheating. So I did see this one. Now, I've never tried the cocokind brand before, but this was like one of the only facial cleansing oils that I saw at Target that I haven't already tried. Like Neutrogena makes one that's pretty good, but obviously I've tried that one. So for the challenge, we might go with the cocokind. Well, I mean, we have no choice but to go with the cocokind for this challenge. And then I'd just follow up with the same cleanser that I use during the day, or if I'm having acne, I'll use an acne cleanser. Now, I do think that the drugstore has a lot of good retinol brands, but for this kind of challenge here, I've already tried a lot of them. Rock Retinol, Olay Retinol 24, Olay Retinol 24 Max. I've tried the Neutrogena one. Like, I've tried a lot of them. So this was a bit of a challenge here. This first one looks pretty promising, but it may not be for me because I've already been on retinol, you know? So if you're new to retinol, you might want to give this one a whirl. Anytime you're trying something new, you go low and slow, boo, low and slow. But this might be a little bit too low and slow for me. Again, this is for me. But for the purposes of this challenge, I did see some retinol contenders that I haven't tried yet. This one from CeraVe. There's also the L'Oreal one. And then there is also one from number 7. So between these three, I'm like, I for the purposes of this little challenge here, these are 3 that I'd be like, maybe. All right, this might be a little bit of cheating, and it's so funny because it's like, why are you cheating on a challenge that you made up, right? Anyway, I've tried Olay eye creams before. I just haven't tried this one in particular, but I also forgot to look at eye creams in general when I was in Target. But for the purposes of this challenge, I would go with this one. I do like to sometimes have a separate eye cream because a lot of times the moisturizer that I'm using for my face is not addressing the same issues that I have underneath my eyes. So my skin, my face is oily. Underneath my eyes tends to be a little bit drier. So sometimes I do need something separate for that area. And I'd probably try this one. Now, night cream. That's also something that sometimes it's usually the same thing that I use during the day. Sometimes it's something different because at night I do like something heavier and creamier. And this one from Naturium caught my eye. I'm not gonna lie, it's the Rich Moisture Cream that did it for me. Now we're moving on to body. Body is gonna be really difficult because literally I've tried almost everything because I get a lot of body products in PR. Brands that I love, Eucerin, of course, especially during the winter time, but they also make like light lotions for the summer. This Gold Bond Radiance Lotion was definitely one of my favorites, but for the purposes of this challenge here, I'm looking at stuff that I haven't tried. So I was kind of looking at this Gold Bond Healing, but then I ultimately decided on Vanicream because I'm like, all the dermatologists on YouTube that I like to watch talk about it. And it seems like something that would be really great, especially at night, and especially during the winter time. And then, you know, during the day, I would just put sunscreen on top of that. Now, speaking of sunscreen, finding a sunscreen at the drugstore that I haven't tried yet was crazy. Like, literally almost all of these I've tried. And then I was like, well, maybe if I try something that is in a bigger bottle, maybe that'll count. But we'll talk more sunscreen when I get in the car and, you know, we'll kind of go over everything that I looked at here. Ditto with body washes. Kind of hard to find something I haven't tried before. I love Aveeno's body washes, but Target's Up and Up brand had a pretty decent dupe that I would probably go for. Usually with body washes, I try to look for something that is soothing, hydrating, moisturizing, that doesn't have a bunch of fragrance in it because 1, I don't want that irritating my skin, and then 2, I don't need it clashing with any of my perfumes that I love to wear. Well, this is not to say that I never have fragrance in my body washes. I just usually try to, you know, lessen how much exposure I have to it. Why do I look so beat up? Yo, that wind is no joke. Let me resurge myself and then we'll commence talking. All right, now I'm feeling like I look like folks, you know? Whew. Listen, I got back into the car in the nick of time because as soon as I got in here, it started to rain. So hopefully you can hear me well. That was really fun and interesting. And I like the challenge of me having to pick products that I've never tried before, because I didn't realize how much stuff was in the drugstore. Now, mind you, Target only, and this Target in particular, only had but a certain selection of skincare items. You know, I'm sure if I went to other places like Walmart or whoever, there would have been other like brands that are like specific to that store. But I've tried a lot of drugstore stuff already, so there was a lot of stuff that I had to bypass. So if my memory serves me correctly, right, this is my routine based on, you know, I didn't buy any of that stuff. I mean, I bought something, but it was groceries, not like, you know, I didn't, what I need buying skincare stuff for, right? You know what I'm saying? So if my memory serves me correctly, here's the breakdown of my skincare routine that, you know, I randomly got from out of Target. So I would have to say cleanser was a pretty, I'd have to say it took me a little time to find a cleanser that I hadn't tried before that kind of like spoke to me. So I like gel cleansers or any kind of cleanser that's gonna give me like an experience, right? It doesn't have to be expensive, but I do like that kind of texture. A lot of the ones, the popular ones, the good ones, I've already tried those. So I did wind up saying, you know what? I would give the Niacinamide cleanser from Naturium a shot, right? Now I know there's a lot of controversy behind that brand, but you know, if I had to go like blindly in there and, you know, just pick, with all brands being, you know, I guess on the same playing field, I would do the Naturium cleansing gel. If you use a cleanser from the drugstore, let me know what it is in the comments and how you like it, what type of skin you have, because we are a community here. We learn from each other, so leave as much detailed information as you can in the comments. Then sometimes in the mornings, I do use a chemical exfoliant, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. I do that because I do use a vitamin C serum, and, you know, they say that if you use something, you know, like an AHA before you use your vitamin C, it's a little bit better, you know, yada, yada. However, there weren't a lot of chemical exfoliants in there that I haven't tried already. So Pixi, you know, which is like, you know, everyone loves the Pixi Glow Tonic. I've already tried that before, and I could have sworn that they had way more toners, or maybe this Target just didn't have that much of a selection. Now that I think about it, I don't think I saw a chemical exfoliant in there that I would have tried that I haven't already tried before. So ones that I like that you can find in Target, the Versed, I think it's called Weekend Skin or something like that. That one is good. I'll pop it up on the screen and link it below. Everything will be linked below, so make sure you check that out. Melee Skincare, I'm currently using their chemical exfoliants. Of course, you know, that was out. And I do like that one as well. I saw something from, I think it was Versed, but it was a physical exfoliant, and I don't really love physical exfoliants for my face. Then I was kind of like, you know, maybe if I find an enzyme exfoliator, but I didn't see that in there. So to be honest with you, I'm either gonna have to, when it comes to the chemical exfoliant, I'm probably gonna have to cheat and use something that I've used before, because I honestly did not see anything that like caught my eye that I haven't already tried. You know what I mean? So definitely, I feel like the drugstore can use more chemical exfoliants. And I even went to some of the big brands like Neutrogena, L'Oreal, Olay, La Roche-Posay. Well, La Roche-Posay is owned by L'Oreal, but you know what I mean. And I didn't see any chemical exfoliants. And, you know, I don't know all of these brands, you know, exhaustive list of their, like, what they offer, but I didn't see anything inside Target. And when it comes to vitamin C serum, I haven't tried a lot of the drugstore vitamin C serums yet, but I had my eye on the Pixi one for this like experiment. The Pixi one caught my eye because it mentioned vitamin C and ferulic acid, and then kind of looking quickly at the ingredient list, it looked like, okay, this might be about that life. So for this experiment, for my vitamin C, I would do the Pixi vitamin C serum. I was also looking at one from L'Oreal and also one from Naturium. I was going to initially just go with the one from La Roche-Posay that esthetician from the UK, our good gal, Deja Ayadeli likes that one. But then I thought that would be a little bit too easy because, like, you know, she likes it. And I've gotten it in PR a couple of times, but just haven't had a chance to actually like try that serum. But I thought that would have been a little bit of cheating for the experiment. So, you know, I would definitely say the Pixi for this particular experiment. When it came to moisturizer with sunscreen, I figured, you know what, let me just do one all rolled in one. And with that, I went for the Differin one, the oil absorbing one. So that's daytime. So for nighttime routine, so I would use whatever cleanser again. If I'm wearing makeup, now here's the thing, I do feel like there are more drugstore cleansing balm and cleansing oil options than what this Target had, but I had to go with what was available to me in there. So either I would cheat and do the Verse cleansing balm, which I've already tried, and I think I remember, you know, it being decent and liking it. But then I would go with to like fully be within the challenge, I would do the cocokind cleansing oil, and see how that would work out for me. And then, you know, follow up with that Naturium cleanser for this challenge. Then when it comes to retinol, I think retinol might have been the thing that took me the longest to figure out at the drugstore, because I have already tried so many great retinols, Rock Retinol, Olay's Retinol 24, Olay's Retinol 24 Max. So I've tried some really great retinols at the drugstore already, but a few that caught my eye, and I think the one that would probably win is the number 7 retinol serum. That did look quite interesting. And then occasionally I do get acne, like when my period is coming. And with acne stuff, I do tend to buy from like the department stores, because usually the adult acne stuff that's available, actually there's not really that much adult acne stuff available in the drugstores, right? You know, like as compared to what you would get at like Sephora or Ulta. A lot of the stuff is like the stuff that's for teenagers, which if it's a spot treatment, maybe it won't be that bad. But like an acne cleanser or like, an acne treatment that I'm going to put all over my face, I typically want that to be a lower percentage of salicylic acid or benzoyl peroxide. The teenager ones tend to have more of the active in it, and that can dry out adult skin, and I don't want that kind of smoke. So when it came to an acne wash, I did see Verse had an Acne-Calming cleanser. It had 1.5% salicylic acid. Now, for a cleanser, I usually like to do like 0.5% salicylic acid, and Myriad has one that I like. But maybe I'll do like 1%. 1.5 seems a little high for something that I would want to use, but I would at least try it and see how my skin tolerated it. But other than that, I didn't really see anything with a lower dosage of salicylic acid or benzoyl peroxide, at least not at this Target. So I was watching the replay of this and about me going on and on and on about how much salicylic acid was in that Verse cleanser. And I was like, wait, don't I like the one from Neutrogena? And this one has, there we go, 2% salicylic acid. So I think I realized where I was coming from with that. So when I had reoccurring acne, meaning that I needed to use the Myriad cleanser more often than I use an acne cleanser now, I did like the 0.5%. But for the occasional acne, for me, the 2% is just fine, because I was using this for quite some time with no issue as well. Now here's the thing, when you're using retinol, but you're also using acne medication, sometimes you have to kind of like alternate the nights that you use it, because benzoyl peroxide can cancel out your retinoid, and you don't want that kind of happening. Salicylic acid and a retinol, usually it's not advised in the same routine, but if you give it enough time in between applying the salicylic acid and the retinol, you might be okay. Again, low and slow. Don't go guns a-blazing when it comes to, adding a bunch of actives in your skincare routine. I forgot to mention it here in the car, but the nighttime moisturizer would be this one. Now, one thing to note, right? I am but a simple woman. Right now, my skincare routine is about protection and prevention. I don't have a list of things that irritate my skin. My skin isn't particularly sensitive. I'm not on any special medication that can make my skin sensitive or that could interact with, some topical skincare products. So I'm not someone that has to like really, really like, scan ingredient labels to make sure that nothing that's in the product may be a potential irritant for my skin. But if that is you, you want to make sure. Now, we're not cosmetic chemists. We're not going to know, look at an inky list and be like, oh, well, this has glycerin and, oh, wow. And this, you're not going to be able to figure out how a product is going to work by looking at the ingredient list. But what you do want to look for on the ingredient list is things that are common irritants. Like if you have particularly sensitive skin, if you're prone to hyperpigmentation or prone to rosacea or you're eczema prone, you definitely want to make sure that you kind of compare your ingredient list and make sure that there's nothing in there that could potentially irritate your skin. Now, body stuff, if I was simple with my facial, well, I wouldn't call my facial skincare routine simple, but my body skincare routine is pretty simple. And there's a video on my typical body shower routine to help prevent and treat hyperpigmentation, so make sure you check that out. But the thing is, I have tried so many of the body washes that are available at the drugstore that the only one that I was like, okay, this is what I would choose out of things that I haven't tried, for this challenge, was the Target in-store brand. I think it's like Up and Up or something like that. They had a fragrance-free, although it had fruit oil in it, which might have had another purpose in the formulation, but its like sole purpose wasn't to fragrant the product. But anyway, even when you're looking for fragrance-free stuff, you still want to scan the ingredients to make sure that there aren't any other potential irritants in there for you. But I would go with that. Body lotion, again, I'm very basic. Body lotion, I wound up looking at the Vanacream. Now, I hear a lot of the dermatologists that are on YouTube, talking about Vanacream. So I would go with that one. I've never tried that one before. And, if the dermatologists like it, I want to try that. I'm not looking to spend a bunch of money on a body wash or a body lotion. Now, body sunscreen, that was hard to find one that I haven't used before because I've literally almost tried every sunscreen that was on there. Then I was like, oh, well, if it's in a bigger bottle and I haven't tried it, maybe that can count. But it was really hard. So I think I wound up with, with the body sunscreen, I wound up with the Up and Up version of like a sport sunscreen, water resistant up to, I can't remember if it was 40 or 80 minutes, but all that information will be linked below. So yeah, that was the body skincare. But yeah, that's what I would get, if I had to start all over and get a new skincare routine at Target. Let me know below if you've ever tried any of the products that I wound up picking for this challenge. And for more information on how to like start a skincare routine, the stuff that you might need in it, make sure you check out my other videos. There's lots of wonderful information there. Follow me on social, and I will see you fine folks in my next video. Bye, guys.